Good day, viewers. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm one of the best educational consultants. Thank you so much for watching my video, sharing my video, give my video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful. Thanks. Keep it up. We love you. In today's class, we are going to discuss about government. 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 Now, government, when we talk about government, it is defined in three ways. Let's show you. Number one, government can be defined as an institution of the state. Another one you can define government. Government can be defined as arts or science of governing. It can also be defined as academic field of study. Government, these are the three definitions of government. You understand? You're going to take them one after the other. One after the other. Three definitions of government. Government can be defined as an institution of the state. Can be defined as art or science of governing the people. Then it can also be defined as academic field of study. Then we're going to define them one after the other. And during my definition and during the stuff, during my explanation and others, I will be telling you how they will ask you questions based on them and how to code each of them. So let's go to them. Let's take them one after the other. Now, when we talk about government as institution of the state, when we talk about the state, state is a population, it's a group of people. Do you understand? A group of people, like Nigeria is what we mean by state. USA is a group of people, it's a population, a group of people. Now, this government is after the interest of that people, the way of the people. Do you understand? When we talk about this government, we're talking about those people that their interest is based on the way of the people. So this is how to know it. Do you understand? The government that studies about the way of the people is called government as an institution of the state. You understand? You don't need to cram anything. You don't need to cram anything. Just know it like this. The government that studies about the will of the people is called government as an institution of the state. When we talk about the interest of the people, it's talking about the interest of the people. Because state is talking about as a population, about population, masses, people. Do you understand? We're going to go into it. It's one after the other. So the government that have that their interest is based on the will of the people is called government as an institution of the state. So note this. This is the coding. This one is talking about the will of the people. Will of the people. Do you understand? This government is talking about the will of the people. The will of the people. So when we talk about this government can be defined as the body, because government is like organization. It's like a body. Do you understand? Or machinery or agency. Do you understand? Through which the will of the people is being attained, formulated. Do you understand? The will of the people is being satisfied. Do you understand? Attained, formulated. Because now here in this government, A group of people, population, they come together. I get me. There are people coming together to live in a definite territory. Do you understand? So this is what happened, and this government, as an institution of the state, their interest is on the way of the people, on the way of the people, the interest of the people. So that's the work of this one. So whenever you see institution of the state, government as an institution of the state, it simply means the government that their interest is on their people, the will of the people. That is what this government is all about. The body that makes sure that the will of the people is being formulated or attained. Do you understand? This is the body. But before these people will talk about this government, there must be coming together of people. People must come together with different language, different culture, different history. Many people come together to make a country or territory. That is what we call this government, because this government is after the will of the people. Do you understand? The government that makes sure that the will of the people is being attained or formulated is called as government as an institution of the state. Do you understand? When we talk about government as an institution of the state, we are talking about the will of the people, because now the state is talking about population of people. Population. Because without state, there will not be government. State is what attracts government. Nigeria is what attracts government. Nigeria is a state. USA is a state. So that state attracts government. Without state, you won't have government. So their interest is on the masses, is on the will of the people. Will of the people. They make sure that people are satisfied in the state. Do you understand? So that is why we say that people formulated come together. There's a group of people with different culture, different language, different history. They come together in a definite territory. Do you understand? So this is the government that talks about the way of the people. So mark this word is very important when you are leading this topic from my YouTube channel. Will of the people. So this is the coding. This is what you need to know. The way of the people. The government that discuss about the will of the people. It's an institution of the state. Will of the people. Will of the people. The body that makes sure that the will of the people is being attained or formulated is called government as an institution of the state. Let's go to art of governing. So this one is well known. Number two, when we talk about this one, the coding is all about the fundamental laws. The fundamental laws. This is the coding. Now, listen, the art of governing or science of governing is now because the other one, they are now states. State has come in. That's the first one. The first one, that states. State has come in. People. State mean people from different tribes, from different area, different culture. They come together to make up a country, to live in a territory. You understand? Occupying a territory, a definite territory. That is what we mean by states. You understand? With different motive. They have an organized government, which is quite different from other states. You understand? So now, since they have a state, and you know that without state, government cannot exist. Government cannot do what? Exist. So state is what attracts government. So since they have state, they now say that government can be defined as art or science of government because they have states. They now need to place a law so that there will be peace and unity and order. Everywhere there will be security in the state. So because of that state, they now say because of state, they now provide art or science of how to govern them. Then I said, we are going to need a law, fundamental laws that will govern these people so that there will be peace and order and security and every other things in the place. You understand? So now when we talk about this, we're talking about fundamental laws. So this one can be defined as the body that uses power and authority to maintain peace, order, security, etc. By they maintain this by making and enforcing fundamental law to the state. So now the first one is talking about the institution of the state. So when we talk about the institution, we're talking about the way of the people. Because state is a group of people, population that are independent. They didn't depend on other people. They are independent. They are independent. They live. Nigeria is not dependent on USA. US government cannot place an order in Nigeria. They can't because Nigeria is a sovereign country. You understand? It's an independent country. It's only the president of Nigeria that can place a law that can say that this will state is only the one that can say something. We are not dependent on US or Canada or any country. You understand? So that's what we mean. So now that's what we mean by states. Canada, US, they have their own government, which is quite different from other states. Do you understand? So that's what we mean. So now, when we talk about the institution of the state, we simply means that the government is to make sure that the will of the people is being satisfied. That the will of the people, they are satisfied. Their way. It's talking about the people, the masses, the people, the masses, the population, their way, their way. That is the institution of the state. Whenever you see or hear about institution of the state, government as an institution of the state, it's talking about the way of the people. Whenever you hear or see art or science of governing, it's talking about the fundamental laws in order to maintain peace, security, order, etc. in the country. They use the power and authority to maintain this by making and enforcing fundamental laws. You understand? So now, under this one, the fundamental laws are divided into three. The fundamental laws are into three. This law now is divided into three. The fundamental law. Here we have legislature. We have the second one, executive, and the third one, judiciary. These are called personnels. They are called personnels that make sure that the government work are being done. Do you understand? They are called personnels. Do you understand? So now, because of this, they need to have a personnels that will make sure that the work is being done. That's why they created personnels like legislature, executive, and judiciary. You understand? Because now they have people have come together in a state with different history, different culture, different language. So now, after that, they now make law so that those people will obey those laws. They obey it. There will be peace, unity, and security. So now they now say, because of that, they need to have some personnel that will make sure that those things are being attained, are being done. That's why they created legislature, executive, and judiciary. They are called the main organs of government or three arms of government. The organs of government, the organs mean those people or personnel that make sure that the fundamental laws are being obeyed. Because without these people, a state cannot be satisfied. The state, there will not be peace in the state. So that's why they created this three, so that there will be peace in the state. You understand? So government is a nice cause. It's very important. So now let's take the legislature, executive, and judiciary one after the other. They are called three arms of government. You can see it as one of these is not a fundamental, the people that makes the fundamental laws. So these three are the people that work with the fundamental laws. Or you can call them three organs of government. Three organs of government. You understand? We talk about the fundamental law. We talk about the three organs of government. Three main organs of government or arms of government. One, legislature. Now when we talk about these people, their main work is to make law. Is to make what? Law. How about the name you? Their work is to make law. Is to make what? Law in a state. That's their work. Remember that after the creation of the state, they need to talk about how is this state being governed. How can you govern the state so that there will be peace, unity, order, and security by creating out a fundamental laws, by creating out a law. That is the organs or arms of government. They created it so that there will be peace, unity, and security in the country, in the state. So now the legislature are the people that make law. Now we talk about number 2. Executive. They're the people that make sure that you obey the law. They enforce the law. They enforce the law. They make sure that you obey the law. Executive, they carry out the work. These people carry out the work. After these people make the law, these people will carry it out to make sure that you do what? You obey. The executive, that is to enforce. Executive means to enforce. You understand? So number 3, let's go to judiciary. And number 3, they do what? Interpret and apply the law. And apply the law. They interpret and apply the law. They're called judiciary. Their work is to interpret and apply the law. Then the first one, legislature, their main work is to make the law. Executive is to execute or enforce the law. Then this man, judiciary, is to make sure that they interpret and apply it. They will tell you, hope you are aware of the law. They will interpret it for you and tell you the consequences of the crime. Let's go to judiciary. Let's go to judiciary. Let's go to the court. Let's go to the court. That's what it means. They are the one to interpret it. They will interpret it and tell you everything. Let's go to court. They will interpret the law and apply it. You understand? So government, the reason why they have a fundamental law is because they have created a state. There's a state. People has come together to make up a country in a definite territory. There's a group of people. They are independent. They do not depend on any other states. Yes, sir. US cannot interfere in Nigeria because Nigeria is a sovereign country. It's an independent country. You understand? So now, because of that, they have a organs or arms of government, which are the legislature, executive, and judiciary. These are the 3 arms of government or organs of government. They means the people that are consigned or the personnel that are consigned with the fundamental laws. You understand? The first one, legislature, is to make law. The second one, the executive, is to execute or enforce the law. The third one is to interpret the law or apply the law. Let's go to the third topic. The third one is as an academic field. Academic field of study. There are 3 things you will know here. Academic field. Academic field. It's talking about the field, the ideas of government. Ideas of government. When we talk about the academic field, you know one thing. The ideas. It's talking about the ideas. Ideas. That's what you know here. Here, what you need to know here is all about the ideas. How they generated the ideas. Idea generation. How they generated their idea from an academic. Academic means study, from school, from people. They can generate these ideas to work from people, from research, from where it is being taught. That is a study. That's what we mean by academic field of study. Government can be defined as academic field of study. Simply means the ideas generation, how they call their ideas. They can get it from a philosopher, from philosophers, from great philosopher. They can get it from Aristotle. They can get it from Plato, etc. You understand? They can get it from other related courses, other specialized courses. You understand? Like sociology. They can get it from sociology, from history. You understand? etc. They can get the ideas on where they work from. You understand? They can also get the idea from research. From research. You understand? So when we talk about the academic field of study, we are talking about how they get the idea. To know more of the political activities, dynamic nature, and the agencies involved in government. Here we talk about how they get the ideas. To know three things. We talk about to know everything about agency, to know things like political activities, and third one is dynamic nature of government. Now we can also talk about here, because this idea we also tell them, the relationship between Nigeria and US, relationship between the World Bank. That is where they talk about the World Bank, that Nigeria can have a bank in the world. They can put money and borrow money from China. These people can borrow. This is government, what government thought. This is where they generated the idea. Because the idea will take one country, one state, that you can go to this state and borrow money, that US can go to Canada and borrow money, Canada can go to here and borrow money. Do you understand? This is what the ideas is talking about. They can tell them about political relationship between one state and another state. But remember that you cannot interfere, because that state is a sovereign state. You can't come and tell these people you should go and do this, you can do this. It's not possible, because that state is a sovereign state. It's an independent state. Yes, sir. So now, so this is when we talk about the academic field of study, we're talking about how government, how they generated their ideas. You can also show the relationship between states. Relationship between states. We understood now. It's okay. Let's go to understood. It's okay. Now let's go to why is government an academic field of study? Why is there an academic field of study? It's a very important question. Why is government? Why can jam people and other people in? Do you understand? Why is government an academic field of study? Listen, for people writing professional exam, you don't need to go and be cramming. It's very easy. Once they see government as an institution of the state, what will be in your mind is interest of the people, will of the people. Then when we talk about the governing art or sense of governing, you are talking about fundamental laws. That's why you see the organs of government or arms of government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. Then in Germany, they might ask you, one of these are the people that makes law. They're called legislature. People that execute or enforce law, executive. Then judiciary are the people that interpret or apply the law. So now government as an academic field of study is talking about the ideas generation, where government generated their ideas to develop, to work on, so that there will be peace and unity. You understand? So we're talking about this because that idea will make them to work on the political aspect of government or dynamic nature of government, and also to know the relationship between one state and the other state. We are talking about country. Do you understand? In states, we are talking about country. So now, when we talk about academic field of study, what is government and academic field of study? What will be in your mind is idea. One, they can get their ideas from great philosophers, well-known philosophers. That's number one thing that will be in your mind, because they can get the idea from the great philosophers. They can get it from other specialized related courses or disciplines. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's number one thing. Because here is talking about academics. Anything that is not talking about academics, you let go. Number, it can also be taught in school. That's number one. Number three. Do you understand? Anything in exam, this thing is all about applying wisdom. Because now they told you academic field of study. It's talking about school, where they got the ideas. So number one, government can get it. It can be gotten from, you can get its ideas from great, well-known philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, etc. So you can say this. It can also get the idea, gets the ideas from other specialized discipline like history, sociology, etc. One, you should know that government is has a many specialized area. It's a specialized area. It can use government to talk, to teach people political science. Government can be used in public administration, etc. Do you understand? So he has a special. It's also involved. Number three, it has a specialized area, because now you can use it like political science. All the political science students, they are doing government now. Public admin, public administration. All of them are doing government, etc. So now, why are you studying government as an academic? Why is government as an academic field of study? It simply means that government can get the ideas from great well-known philosophers, Plato, Aristotle, etc. It can also get the idea from other specialized areas like history, sociology, etc. It's a specialized area, like itself can be taught. You understand? So let's finish it up. 4. It is taught in the school. Do you know that government is taught in school? Yes, that's number 1. You will know this. 5. It can also carry out research. It can also carry out research. Likewise, other courses. It can also carry out research. Likewise, other disciplines. Government, as an academic field of study, has many things to define. It's talking about things, how they generated their ideas. They can generate it from research, they can get it from school, they can get it from great philosophers, Aristotle and this, they can get it from other disciplines, they can get it from their specialized area. You understand? So that's what we mean by this. Know this and no peace. Know this and no peace. One, let's go to characteristics or attributes of government or features of government. Characteristics or attributes of features characteristics means what are government known of. Kedife Jimala governments. What are government known of? This is the characteristics of government, the attributes of government, the features of government. 1, you know the government, they make law. That's number 1. Law making, they make law. 1, law. Law. Law what? Making. Number 2, they make law. They make law. They make law. They enforce you to obey, and they make sure that they interpret the law as well as apply it. That's why you see the 3 arms or organs of government. So this is the attributes of government. They make law so that there will be peace in the country. So number 2, political power. Without this power, without the political power, government cannot exist, because this power, government need power. They need political power so that when they speak, there will be calm everywhere, except that the masses use what we call protest to revert it. That is why government use political power to influence the citizen. You understand? Like now, US president, he uses his political power. You talk about the removal of subsidy on HIV drug, but there is a massive protest. You understand? Now the government cannot say, let's consider this protest. You understand? Because of this, they can talk about it, they can discuss on it. That's why I told you that government can be changed. It's not permanent. They can change it. They can change it. But state cannot be changed. You understand? We're going to discuss that one. So because of Trump as the president, but Trump cannot do it when he was not the president. He can't because he doesn't. This thing, the power is not on him to try it. Once you are not with the political power, you can't give a law. You don't have the power. The power is on you. Now he's the president. He has the power to say that I want to remove the subsidy on HIV drug. And people now, the only thing that people will do is protest. It's a protest. They will protest. Now the government will go back and think about the protest to know if they will amend it so that the masses will be happy. That's why we talk about the institution of the state. The institution of the state, the will of the people. Because people are protesting that the thing is not too favorable to them. It's not favorable to them. Now the government will sit down, think about it to know what they will do. So without political power, government cannot do what? Function. Political power is another tools that government use to influence the citizen. You understand? Number 3, personnel. When we talk about the personnel, we're talking about the trained, certified people, organized people that government give their work to make sure that their work are being done. They are called personnel. Satisfied. They must be satisfied. They must be trained. Government trained people, they are not personnel, to make sure that the government activities are being carried out. Government work. Do you understand? So they are called personnel. Remember that without political power, government cannot function, because this is the power that makes government to place a law, to change something, to make a constitution from the power, because the power is on the president. They have the power. You understand? Now they can make law. This is where they make law, execute it, and carry it out, and carry the law out and apply it. Personnel are the people that are well trained, certified to carry out the functions or activities of government. We talk about revenue. Government can get this from taxes. Revenue to generate fund. Government can use tax to generate fund so that the function activities in the country will be going well. That is where some countries are doing what we call direct and indirect, or direct or indirect tax. Direct tax or indirect tax. Why some are using both of them? Direct, like Nigeria, I guess Nigeria is using indirect tax. Some countries are using, developed countries are using direct tax. Direct tax. Tax you pay direct to the government. But this one is the one you can pay from goods you bought. Do you understand? Why the manufacturer or the people have already paid for the tax and impose it on their goods. You understand? So now, these are where the government can generate money, fund to function well, from the revenue or the tax. So know this. They will ask you this in your exam. One of these is not a characteristics, attributes, or features of government. So know them. So number 5, public support. Number 6, welfare services. Public support is where the public can support government. Like now, somebody can say, let me support these people so that the country will go away. They can donate fund publicly. People can donate fund. Community can say, let's support government in this way. Let's support our government so that the function of everything will be carried that way. Understand? That is what we call public support. Now we talk about the welfare services to maintain peace, to make sure that every services are okay. The welfare of the people, do you understand? By the government. So these are the features or characteristics or attributes of government: law, political power, personnel, revenue, public support, welfare services, and others. So it's very important you know this because of your exam. One, let's go to function of government. Function of government. Number one, function of government. What one? They make law. Government make law and make sure you obey it. That is lawmaking. They make law. When we talk about the function, they make law. Government make law through the personnel. I told you in the features, they make law through the personnel. They make sure you obey it through the personnel. They interpret it and apply it once you didn't obey through the personnel. You understand? So they make law. Law is the function carried out by three personnel. I told you before. Legislature, executive, and judiciary. Number two, government make sure or they maintain peace and order in the country. They maintain peace and order. Okay. They make sure there is peace and order Three, even security. They provide security. They provide security. Four, peace and order. They maintain peace and order. So there is peace and order. They provide security. They can also they protect your lives and properties. That is the function. Another function. They protect lives and properties. That's function. Five, they administered administration of justice. Like now, when somebody is being raped, killed, government can administer justice for that person. Yes, so that other people will learn from that. They administer justice. Functions of government. We have about 7 or 8 of them. Many of them you can use your initiative to answer in the exam. Many things. Government, they employ unemployment. They provide employment opportunity for you. There are many of them. Employment opportunity. It is the work of the government to create employment. It is the work of the government to create employment. So we have about 8. I will read them out. After this one, I will clean the board and list it. So just know it. So what is the function of government? The government makes sure there are lawmakers. When we talk about law, without law, the state cannot stay. Without law, without government, state cannot function. Because government is like a machine, it's like an agency through which the state function. A state cannot work without government. So government So even without state, government cannot work. So them are working together. So because of state, they make government. State is in existence. That's why they make government, so that states can use the government and function. You understand? Government is like a law that guides the citizen. So there will be peace, security, and unity, and everywhere will be all three necks. There will not be crime because of government. And that's why the state government is because of state. There's a country. You can't start state. You can't start giving government without state. People must be there before you make the law, because the people that make that law are the state. You understand? So government cannot function without state. And that state, and because of that, that's why they make government. Yes, sir. And they can amend government, they can change it, but you cannot change state. Yes, sir. So exam is all about using your initiative, using your senses. Yes, sir. So state is the only things that triggers government to come in. Because without state, there's no government. Government is existing in Nigeria because there's a Nigeria. And you cannot change Nigeria, but you can change government. Yes, sir. You can't change Nigeria, but you can change government. Yes, sir. So now we have another one, functions. Okay. We have number 4. Okay, number 7, sorry. Political function. See another scenario where government can change. Like now, when we talk about government, like now, like they can be using OD method in election. One government can come in and say, we don't need it again. We need a modernized method. Maybe they can be using paper. You come, you shed, and go the one you want. Old method. That is what means that government can change, but state cannot change. Yes, sir. So government can come in and say that we don't need this again. We need a modelized biometric method. They can use modelize by using biometric. Yes, sir. By using biometric. They can even say you can vote anywhere. You can stay in your home and vote. Voting with your phone, laptop, system, all these things. It's not about they can change government, but you cannot change states. You understand? You see the difference? Government can be changed, but state cannot be changed. You can amend government, but you cannot change state. You understand? So now, political function. The function of government is to make sure that it's a free and fair election. To make sure free and fair election. Government makes sure there is a free and fair election. That's the political function. Political function. The function politically to make sure there is a free and fair election in the country. That's a work. Number 8, economical function. Economical function. Because of this high inflation all over the world, is caused by COVID-19. So governments are trying to stabilize their economy so that people can be stable. You can be living fine, although it's affecting everybody. Even in Canada, everybody are complaining. There's a high rate of high living expenses in Canada, US, and everywhere because of the effect of COVID-19. Even in Nigeria here, everywhere there is high rate of high inflation. When I was teaching my students, I told them that inflation was caused by COVID-19. The causes of that COVID-19 is the effect is now. It's affecting us now. But it's a matter of time. Things will be all right. You understand? Even in Canada, they are complaining. US, everybody, all over the country. No place is safe. High living, even Canada, high rent. My friend told me that the house rent in Canada skyrocketed very well. Very, very well. Even US, everywhere, even Nigeria. The cause is COVID-19. The effect of COVID-19. So government are trying to stabilize the economy. So their function is to make sure that they say stable economy so that the citizen will be satisfied. You understand? So that is the economical function of government, to make sure that the economy are stabilized so that you can live well. I get me? Because once the economy is not stabilized, the country will be uncomfortable for everyone. You understand? So government try everything possible to stabilize the economy, to make it to be okay for everybody. So number 9 function, social services. Social services. Government provides social services to the masses, to the citizen, like social amenities, light, water, good load, all these things, the electricity. They make sure that the masses are okay. You understand? So that is the I think this is okay. You can still know that it's okay. I will stop here so that we can now treat state, nation, and society. I think it's well understood. The teaching is from God. It's a calling. So listen, watch, share my video, and comment on it. Send it to many people so that they will read and understand. I told my students, try every day 3 hours per day. 3 hours per day to read so that your brain cell will be active. Once you stop reading, your cells in the brain start dying. Once you stop reading, your cells in the brain start dying. You need to fill it with books, inspirational books. Apostle Seman, he said, I was watching one of his videos. He said that every day he reads more than 4 or 5 books per day. So once you stop reading, the cells in your brain start dying. So be acclimatized with books. Marry your book. Be reading. Share my YouTube channel to everyone around. Share to your friends so that we watch and pass the exam. Let's go to state. State, nation, and society. Let's talk about states. What about state? You're talking about country. You're talking about components in the states. Like you talk about Enugu state. It's not like that. No. Talk about, like, when you talk about state, you're talking about UX as a whole, as a country. The territory, definite territory of a state. You talk about Canada, it's a state. You don't talk about some parts of Canada, like Alberta. No, it's not like that. You talk about the whole Canada. That is state. State. I want to know states. There are things you will know in states. State simply means country. That is country. You understand? They are independent of other country. This state is an independent body. They don't depend on other people. It's a group of people. They come together. Group of people with different culture, different language. Because in Canada now, some people are speaking French, some are English. Go now, Canada, most of them are not speaking those. Some there are French speaking country, they are English there. Even in Nigeria, some are speaking different language. Do you understand? That's what we mean by state. They can be homogeneous, they can be heterogeneous. But the main thing for you to know is that one state cannot interfere in other states. The influence of this state cannot affect this one. Do you understand? Nigeria law is quite different from other people's law. And these people cannot come and interfere in our law. They have an organized government of their own. They are independent of other states. This state cannot interfere in this state. That's what I mean by state. An independent political body of people that occupy a definite territory with an organized government that is quite different from other states. Do you understand? Their government is quite different. They cannot be influenced by other states. Like now, Nigeria can state a law. US cannot come here and say that we can do otherwise. No, it's not possible. We can't go to US and tell them what to do. It's not possible because the government is quite different from Nigeria. You cannot interfere. That's one by state. The state is an independent body. It's an independent political body of people. It's a population. 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 A group of people. Just a group of people. They occupy a definite territory with an organized government. Organized government that are not influenced by internal or external affairs. Another state cannot interfere. Their government is on their own. They have their own government that is quite different from others. That is state. They are sovereign. They have a power to make law, enforce the law, and people to obey. Yes, sir. They have power to make law. That's what we mean by state. But nation cannot make law. That's the difference between state and nation. This man cannot make law. It's not possible. They don't have the sovereign power to make law. But states have the sovereign power to make law. Sovereign power to make law. While nation does not have the sovereign power to make law. That's the difference. The main difference between this and this. They don't have the sovereign power to make law. It's only state. And the state cannot function without government. So government come in because there is a state. That's why government come in. So that people will be calm in the country. Do you understand? So states, their government are not influenced by other people, other states. They have an organized government that can never be influenced by other states. That will mean by states. It's a country like Nigeria, USA, Canada, Germany, etc. You can't US president cannot go to Germany and tell them what to do. No, it's not possible because they are independent body. Apart from the one that have been colonized, and when they are colonized, they have an agreement. Do you understand? But once you are independent, you are sovereign, you have power to make law in your own country. The other state cannot intervene. That's what we mean by state. A state, it is an independent political body of people that occupy definite territory with an organized government that is quite different, that cannot be that is quite entirely free from internal and external affairs. Do you understand? So this is a state. A state is an independent political body. Independent political body that occupy a definite territory with an organized government that is quite entirely free from internal and external affairs. The state of other people cannot interfere. They have their government quite different from others. Quite different from others. Let's go to characteristics of states. Characteristics of states before we go to nation and society. One characteristics that they must have a population. Population. When we talk about a state having a population, it means that people, there must be a group of people which can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. They might have the homogeneous means that they have a common ties, like a nation. Nation is a group of people that have a common ties. The way we mean by common ties means that they have the same culture, the same language, the same history, etc. They have the same thing. They share things in common. You understand? So, but when we talk about states, we talk about homogeneous or heterogeneous. They can be homogeneous, they can be heterogeneous. You understand? I get me. Now there's the population. Group of people that can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Do you understand? Then we talk about the two definite territory. This is a territory they occupy. Definite territory. It must be definite. They occupy. Number 3. Government. Another thing that is more common in states is government. They must have government. Because remember that without government, state cannot function. Government, states use government to function. Nigeria is using government to function. Am I lying? No, I can't. Because states use government to work. They use government to function. They use government to function. They use government to do what? To function. They are using government to function. States use government to do what? Function. To work. To carry out the activities. Number 6. Number 5. 4. Sovereignty. 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 So states have a supreme power to make law. Their power to make law and they force you to obey it. That is sovereignty. Power to make law. When I was teaching CRS, I talked about the sovereignty power of God. That is the unlimited power of God. That is the supremacy power of God in creation. God exercised this power through creation. By when God said, let there be and there was. Let there be and there was. Yes, sir. So now we talk about this sovereignty in states. This sovereignty is talking about the power of states to make law. They are independent. That is the main difference between a state and a nation. States have sovereignty. They are sovereign. They can make law. They can make law with their power to make law. Why nation cannot? Likewise, society, they cannot. It's only state. It's only state. This is the main difference between a nation, state, and society. It's only state that can make law. So this is the thing you will see in your exam. The main difference between a state, nation, and society is what? Sovereignty. Ability to make law and enforce people to obey it with your power. So state is the only thing that has this. Both nation and society are not sovereign. Hear it from me. They will ask you this in exam. State, the difference between a state, nation, and society is that state, only state, has sovereign power to make law and enforce people to obey it. While nation and society does not have this sovereignty. You see it in the exam. Yes, sir. Number 5. Recognition. A state must be recognized by an internal and external bodies. They must be recognized international and everywhere. Like in Nigeria, is well recognized, both African and America. Everywhere, like Nigeria is recognized. The country is recognized. That's what we mean by recognition. They must be well known. They must be well known. That is a state. A state must be well known. Yes, sir. Number 6. Permanence. Now, what we mean by permanence is that state cannot be changed. Remember that you can change government. The difference between government and state is that government can be changed, state cannot be changed. You can change them. They are permanent. Remember the difference between a state, nation, and society. They will ask you this in your JAMB exam in WAEC, is that states are sovereign. They can make law. They can make law. Why nation and society lacks the ability to make law and enforce people to obey it? That is the main difference. So now, the difference between a state and government is that government can be changed, while state cannot be changed. State is permanent. Government is not permanent. Take this note of this. They will ask you this in the exam, in JAMB, WAEC, and other exams. So we are done with this one. We're done with this one. Remember that all these characteristics can be found in nation, but nation does not have sovereignty. It's also a characteristic of nation. No, this is also a characteristic of nation. This is also all this also a characteristics of nation, except sovereignty. This is JAMB and WAEC question. They will ask you. This is also a characteristic of government of nation except sovereignty. State and nation are talking about people coming together, people, group of people. But the difference is that nation is people with the same common ties, the same history, the same culture. They don't have difference. They are the same common tie with the same common tie. But state can be the homogeneous or heterogeneous. They can be the same common ties or different common ties. You see that state and nation have similarities. The difference is that nation can never be sovereign. They don't have the power to make law and they force people to obey. But state are sovereign. They can make law and make people to obey. So now, the major difference between a state and government is that government can be changed, while state can never be changed. So know this and no peace. Know this and no peace. Nation. When we talk about nation, we are talking about a population, a group of people, community of people that have a common ties. That what we mean by this, the nation, a group of people with common. What we mean by common ties? You mean that they have the same language, the same culture, the same history. That is, they are homogeneous. A nation, they are homogeneous. You understand? Unlike state can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. You understand? They can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. So when we talk about nation, the only difference between a nation and a state is that nation can never make law. That is where we talk about, I have said it before, in sovereignty. Sovereignty. That is the difference between a state and a nation. A nation cannot make this, cannot make law. They can never. Nation can never make and enforce law. Why state do? State can make and enforce law. That's different. So know this and no peace. Know this and no peace. Know this and no peace. Society. 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 The last one. Society is a relationship which can be direct or indirect, can be organized or unorganized, can be conscious or non-conscious or conscious, which men enter into any state. Society. This is a relationship. It can be club. It can be club. It can be anything that people are doing. Football team. That's society. Relationship. Relationship that men enter into in a state. It's called society. The only difference between society, state, and state is that society, they are not sovereign. They can make law. They can make law. They can make law. You understand? So I think you understood everything. Understood everything. Society is the relationship men entered into in a state. It can be direct relationship, direct or indirect. organized or unorganized, etc. So the major difference between a society and a state is sovereignty. Sovereign. A society can never make law and enforce law, while states always can make and enforce law. People preparing for JAM, take note of this. People writing JAM, take note of this. JAM and WAEC, take note, take note, take note. JAM, WAEC, take note. They will ask it. They ask the question. We are done for today class. Thanks so much, my friend, for watching and sharing my video to everybody around you. I really appreciate it. Thanks.